This is the Author Panel Edition, hosted by Muthoni Omukhango and sponsored by CLC Kenya.
So happy to have you here. Very much welcome. Today we are looking at the Mother's Day edition, and we have two amazing women. I've known them through their books. They've become friends and family. We are one family. It's called the Authors Family. We are impacting, the world, impacting people for Jesus Christ, but using our books as the pulpit. And so I'm very happy to have Margaret Abukutsa. And we also have Diana Wangeshi Wambua, amazing authors with amazing stories, and we'll be discussing that in a short while. We are looking at thriving in your calling, and would want to get to know a little bit about these women. Even as we focus this month of May for Mother's Day, we are celebrating them as women, them as mothers, and so it's such an honor. It's so amazing to be here. My name is Muthoni Omukhango. I'm leading the team at CLC Kenya, and I'm so honored to host these women today. Let me start with Margaret. Please introduce yourself and introduce your book so that you can get to know a little bit about you.
Thank you, Muthoni. My name is Margaret Abukutsa Vidolo. I have so many caps, but for this conversation, I'll start by saying I am a wife to Rehoboam Vidolo. I am a mother to two girls, Diamond and Jewel. I am an author of a book, The Diamond Underneath. I am also a speaker and a coach. I coach women who are going through life-threatening illnesses to be hopeful and go through them and thrive. This is after I've had a period of episodes in my own life about health challenges. I also work as a civil engineer in one of the parastatals in Kenya. Let me leave it at that. Thank you.
Awesome. I'm happy that you're a career woman, you're a family woman, and you can be able to do all this, and you'll be sharing with us about how you're making it happen. How do you manage all this, as you do what God has called you to do. Yes, Wangeshi, introduce yourself and let us know about your book.
Thank you so much. My name is Dr. Diana Wangeshi Wambua. I am a mother to three beautiful girls. I am a wife to one and only Wambua Musembi. I also wear many caps, just as Margaret said. I believe, I said that when God created me, he took the whole day because he gave me so many talents, so many things, because I said I can do so many things. It comes to craft, it comes to things with my hands, but let me just use a few words. I am a trained nurse. I am a passionate nurse. What I do my everyday life, every other day, is that I'm a trainer of nurses. I'm a nurse educator at one of the public universities in Kenya. Despite that, I mentor women and girls. I'm a member of the Kenya Girl Guides Association. I'm also a member of the Rotary Club International and a member of Toastmasters International. All this is because of the giving heart. I love giving back to charity. I love working with the community. And I also love meeting people and making impact in the world. What else should I say? I'm also an author, published author. I've written a book by the name Despite Everything, and the title of this book was inspired by my love of being a mother and a wife and just being a nurturer. So the theme of my book is about my PhD journey, about family and about resilience, how I was able to balance and the lessons I learned. And my main goal was just to motivate women and young girls in their own small way that a woman can have it all. I'm a wife, I'm a career woman, I still have my social life. So it's a matter of balancing and just being intentional. So that is what I preach. And I'm happy to be here and be part of the CLC family. Thank you, Muthoni.
Awesome. We are so happy to have you here. It's interesting that the two of you, you're balancing so much, and to say that we can excel as homemakers and also excel as career women. Same with me. I'm a wife. I'm a mother to three children. I'm a career woman. I'm trying to, push this goal to be able to, impact and improve readership and authorship in Africa. So we can be able to balance. I know it is not easy, and we'll get to hear your stories. I know it's not easy, but it's doable. And so that's the message. It's not easy, but it's doable. And the thing we have as Christian or Christians in general, but for today, Christian women, is that we have God. And so he's able to help us and prompt us and give us wisdom and, let us know, do this at this time, don't do this at this time. Awesome. Today, we are looking at living and thriving in your calling. So let me start with Margaret. How do you balance all this? And I put in the mixture or in the mix, I put that you've also gone through a difficult health time or a difficult season where your health has been affected, yet you still have to do all these things. You have to be a homemaker, you have to be a career woman, you're pursuing mentorship and coaching for women. How do you balance all this?
Thank you, Muthoni. I'll start by saying, just before this, I just checked up the word thriving. So it has many other definitions, but what I caught was, it is flourishing, it is growing and healthy, it is prospering, developing, success, and accomplishing. And so having said that, I want to start by saying God created a woman, having her as an agenda on the planet Earth. A woman is graced to handle so much, yet she does not break. And if you talk to every other woman, they all have their different stories. It may not be the same as yours, but somehow they have a story of resilience, a story of heartbreak, a story of things not being so well. So I want to tie together and saying, making God to be your backbone starts it all by helping you, so that as you start navigating these challenges, when God has your back, he will truly help you. But over and above that, you must also believe in yourself. You must also see that it is possible and I can do it. You must also be prayerful. You must also accept that it's only God who can help you. Because many a times, let me pick an example of my case. You're a mom, you're unwell. The kids are looking up to you. Life has to go on.
Yeah.
You never stop prepping those meals because you're unwell. You never stop getting to be concerned how they'll go to school because you're unwell.
Yeah.
There's been even times I've had to go outside the country for treatment. But you see, since their life has to go on, you never stop being a mom and pick the heart of a patient. It has to run concurrently. So I would say God has created us to be strong enough to handle all these. And the capability comes out in doing it and trusting God and just taking the first step. And then the next step just opens up and he's able to take you through to the end. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. I like the way you're saying that, you keep on prepping the meals. You tell people, I'm so unwell, but then you're cooking. And people are thinking, but you're unwell. It can look like you're pretending because you're just like, the minute you finish doing your part, you're off to rest or to bed and you're very, very sick. And, we usually make fun. This is for fun. That, when men just catch a cold and they look like, it's so, they are so sick. They can't even do many things, they're so unwell. For you, you're thinking you're super, maybe 10 times unwell and you still have to keep up with the things. So life keeps on going. And I like something you said, that in the makeup of a woman, God created us with resilience. And I like what you're saying, that when we make God our backbone, we can be able to do all things. So for you, you're a homemaker, you're a wife, your mother. you're a career woman, so people at work are looking up to you. You're handling the sickness. Your body is not cooperating on many fronts, but you keep going. And so to say, women, we are so resilient, and it is a gift from God, and we receive it. Awesome, awesome. Wangeshi, I know you have your own similar story, having to do all this, and then, life throws in other, spanner in the works. How do you thrive in your calling?
All right. Thank you so much, Muthoni. As Margaret was talking, I was just, shaking my head and just, listening to her. And a part of me was like telling me that is me talking, when she talks about plunging in, talking about plugging in. I remember one of the quotes by Oprah Winfrey that says, like there's great courage until you step out and do it. You see? No one else will do it. So as a woman, you have to come up to that step and say, I can do it. I keep on saying a woman can have it all. So what I would say is that, you see, society has coined the word motherhood and called it is the social expectations, the experiences that are normally associated around mothering, being a mother. And you see, now that has made so many of us just remain at that point. What society expects you to cook, to feed, to do all those things. But I want to reiterate what Margaret said. A woman can be a career woman. A woman can be able to also be a homemaker. But the only thing that lies between the one who is just at home and doing all this mothering, things that we are also doing and following the career path and just living our own purpose, because, you don't have to be in a mainstream career path. There are people who are doing other things that are part of which is their passion, which is now what I call my career, my everyday. It's just intentionality, intentionality, and then also acknowledging God. Because in my book, I have a session where I have talked about what worked for me. And among the things I highlighted is acknowledging God, just like what Margaret has said. I also talked about self-drive. You see, you can have all these things. You want to be a career woman, you have all these dreams, there's a mothering bit of it. We have naturally been created as nurturers, as mothers, because as you put that analogy of the flu, when a guy has a flu and you don't have a flu, and men have a flu, we have had women who have been going through cancer treatment, no hair, nothing, and their homes still run as though they were still there. So for me, I went through the most difficult part of my life. My few years I've lived on this earth was when I left to go and study abroad and leave a 2-year-old baby. I would say that journey has really molded me. It has really taught me that life will still go on, life will still go on, not until we make God the center of it all. You see, because I can only attribute to God my having to be in Europe, sleep, have some good sleep, and still wake up in the morning and go to school, yet my children are only living with a nanny. My husband has gone to work almost 500 kilometers away. So I want to bring the issue of when you put God at the center of it all, he makes things work for you. He aligns everything for you. He sends to you helpers, those, we call them the destiny keepers. Yeah. For me, I would say my nanny was my destiny keeper, and she still is. I still have her, For me, she's the angels we say that are on earth, because she made it. She made me have a peaceful time, and I was able to come back home in due time. I did not spend any extra time. I was able to do my publications and all the requirements that are needed for me to get that doctoral qualification. And now I am back home. So I would say that a woman can have it all, and can thrive. All she needs is to have that mindset. Once you change that mindset, be in the right environment, because what you take in is what becomes of you. So if you're hanging out with the dogs, you're going to have fleas. You see,
Yeah.
but if you hang out with the women who build you, if you hang out in these communities, you know, I've met Margaret in so many other communities apart from CLC, always yearning, always wanting to get something more. So as women, even as we contemplate and celebrate this Mother's Day, I want to put out a challenge to all the women and girls out there. I'm calling the girls because we have this age that is, you know, getting into the job market, trying to get their bearing and all. They're also part of, you know, they're future mothers. So I want to also bring them into that picture. So let us change our mindset. Let us always yearn. Let us want to learn more, because learning does not end. Yes. Thank you so much.
Awesome. I like even the passion you're talking about. And I'm looking at you're talking about intentionality. We have to be able to decide as a woman, this is what I want to achieve. And we are saying that I like Margaret's story. She's gone through illness. I like Wangeshi's story. She has had to leave her children for a whole 2 years to go and get education. Those are difficult moments. And we are saying that as women, yes, we will find difficult moments, but we can be able to scale through. I like Wangeshi has talked about intentionality. What are you intentional about? Because if you're not going to speak to yourself, then you're not going to achieve your goals. And it's okay if homemaking or being a homemaker, or not even a homemaker, let me say a stay-at-home mom or wife, if that is your calling and you know for sure this is what you want to achieve, that is okay. But we are saying that don't be stuck in one side of your life when you feel there are other things you could do. I like Wangeshi talked about career is what you do on a daily basis. For some women, it's business. For other women, it's formal employment. For others, it's informal employment. For others, it's ministry, like myself. Whatever it is that you feel that God has put in you, you have to be intentional to be able to reach out and make it happen. And then I think the tweetable tweet is a woman can have it all. It is possible. We can be able to be good homemakers, to be career people or career women, and career we are talking about whether it's business, ministry, formal employment, informal employment, whatever it is that you want to achieve, you can have it all. And I picked this scripture from the Bible. It says that we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. At the end of the day, have you made Christ your strength? Margaret talked about making God your backbone. That's where everything lies. And if you're following God, you'll be able to tell you, follow this path, you can do this, give you wisdom to be able to have it all. Awesome, Margaret. Is there a point in your life? Because sometimes people see us talking, we are on Zoom and Facebook Live and YouTube and all these places. You know, we've taken nice photos, we put on social media. People think that it is rosy all the time. And we are always encouraged. I know I'm not always encouraged. I mean, I'm so happy to have, you know, my team, Jacqueline and Karen, Dominic is here, and other CLC team, that they can hold me. Sometimes I want to give up and, you know, they push me. Margaret, is there a point in life where you just feel like this is too much? I am discouraged. I am too low. This is too much. Is there such a point so that you can be able to encourage a woman or a girl out there?
Thank you, Muthoni. Absolutely, 100% or 101.
Yeah.
Life is full of pressures. I always remember when I got a job outside the town where I was working, the next thing that came was, how am I leaving my children? They are so young. Can I trust even if it is a nanny, you know? Coming into a new job, there's this pressure again. Should I just quit and go and sit home and look after my children? Then on top of that, you're having this illness that seems not to be going away time and again. You know, all those pressures, you hit a rock bottom, I would say. And sometimes even you can't pray. Sometimes I've had very hard moments at my workplace. I just come back, lock myself, and really cry. Because being a woman in a man's world has not been easy per se. And I'm not saying it as a cliche because people say it. This one, I've literally experienced it. When you really have to defend your work and you are the only woman in the room and you look like you're tiny there, but in the evening you come back home and ask yourself, is it worth it? Leaving my children, leaving my husband, leaving my home, to just come and do this? So yes, to answer the question, yes. Okay. And the reason why I started by saying God has to be in it. If it is not God to help you pick up the ball and go back to that office the following day, it's not easy. Because humanly speaking, you can't. You'll always need strength from God. So do we hit rock bottom? Yes. And sometimes I've decided to be vulnerable. That's why my story, I put it out there daily. So that, you know, as Wangeshi has said, we have these new upcoming women. And I'm subscribing to the book of Titus 2:4-8, that older women mentor younger women. Let them know, even if you are at your workplace, you have to work for it.
Yeah.
I'll not just come there and demand I want a promotion, yet I've not done my work well, I've not done my background well, I've been given an assignment, I've not completed it. That is a no. I'll not just, I know Wangeshi was far, I'm also far. I'll not forget to keep tabs on what is happening to my children and just numb it that God has to do it. There is work that has to go into it. So apart from prayers, the work that has to go into it, the emotional, the uncertainties. You know, we are living in a world of media. You don't know your child, what are they being exposed to? Peer pressure, you know, and all that. Mine are almost going to teenagehood. We have it right now. Things are really happening fast and thick for them, not like us. We no longer have a community to watch over them. It's like they're also being left on their own. So unless God helps you how to steward and nurture these children, you can even break down. But I want to say, even in those low moments, we go back to the beginning. God created a woman out of a man, meaning we are redefined twice. You know, he made a man, then out of him, he made a woman, knowing that we have double strength. So he knows that we are well able to carry this through. And just before I keep quiet, I want to also put in a rider. Some women have really tried, and maybe whatever you are holding on, you lost it. You are sick and maybe you succumbed. You've tried bringing up your kids and maybe they went wayward. You are holding on that marriage, and for one reason and another, it never worked out. Learn to forgive yourself. That is my message, because I remember I also talked about it last year. Sometimes we really self-sabotage ourselves so much and we kill ourselves. We even forget to live just because things didn't turn out the way they were supposed to turn out. However, our expectations may fail. After all, the Bible says, put your desires before God, but it's only God's will that will come to pass. So when we have done all that and it didn't come out the way we expected, don't kill yourself. Pick up the ball and rise again. Thank you.
Amen. Amen. And I like that the Bible tells us that a righteous man will fall even 7 times, but every time we have to get up and continue. Sometimes we know we have this plan in our minds and then doesn't succeed. And I like that, Margaret, you've been consistent. We have to forgive ourselves for the things that we really try, especially the ones we put our 101% into it and they failed. We have to forgive ourselves. There are a few pointers I've picked, even as I'll be inviting Wangeshi. Prayers. So let's be prayerful women. We cannot, this war, this life is won, you know, from our place of prayer. I like mentorship. So as a woman, who are you looking up to? And it's two-way. Who are you looking up to? Because you need someone else to be able to work with you, someone who has gone ahead of you. And then also, who are you mentoring? So looking at who is it that you are working with them. So two-way. And then follow through. I like Margaret talking about her checking on her kids and what's happening, even if she's far away from home. And then forgive yourself, and then community. And I would want us to talk, maybe if God allows us that we are going to have another session, I would really want us to talk about how can we create a community for our children. You see, us growing up, you have aunties. The things your mother will not be able to tell you, your auntie is going to pick it up, maybe because they are a little bit younger than your parents. So I would want us to have a different conversation and talk about creating a community for our children, even if we are not blood, relatives. Margaret, I can be an auntie to your children. You can be an auntie for my children. Wangeshi, I can be an auntie. We can be able to support one another. So creating that community, especially for our children as they grow up. Wangeshi, is there a point you have given up, or it has been new for you from the beginning? Of course,
No, it has not been.
Of course, I've read your book, so I know, but just tell us, is there a moment where you're like, no, this won't work?
Definitely. In so many spheres. Because of the many hats that we wear, we get pressure from all direction. I would say that I'm those people who cry. I'm those people who allow myself to cry when I'm in such situations. And I have gone down and dipped, and you almost feel like giving up. Especially, I would go back to the time when I just came back home, and I'm trying to transition. Here I am working in Nyeri, permanently pensionable, good work environment. Of course, you don't want to leave. And then also, you have been bonded. So either you pay up, or you stay. So you actually don't have an option of exiting. The other one is your family is in Mombasa. Here are children who you have been away from, and now they're getting into teenagehood. You are home, but you're not home. See? So you have come from the frying pan into the fire. There's nothing as painful as we are breathing the same air. I can now call directly and talk to the children as compared to the last year when I had to use a video call and find either auntie or my husband is Mteja. So I have to look for somebody else, friends, family, everyone. Please tell my family people to switch on data or put on Wi-Fi or their phones are off. I need to talk to them and find out, Now I have a direct call, but I'm not able to see the children. I have to spend so much time on the road. I have to get back to a work environment where I have been away for almost 5 years. Abroad things work, systems work. You don't even struggle for services that are your right. Here in Kenya, you have to struggle even for what is your right. So I was really finding it so difficult. I'm not able to plan my time because things are not working. Here I am. I need to release my nanny. I need to get a new person. So I had so many things going on. Back at one point, I was asking myself, really, was this PhD worth it? I have come back. I'm not happy. I was so low. I used to tell my hubby, I'm not happy. I feel so bad. Actually, you could tell it from my face. I had started getting breakouts. I was feeling tired. I had added so much weight. Right now I'm still feeling that weight, but it comes to a point that women need to realize that we get to that point. But when we are at that bottom point, when we are lying straight, on our bellies, we make a conscious decision that nobody will get me out of this place unless I bring myself out of this situation. Unless I realize. So when I realize that there's nothing I can do about the situation I am in. I cannot change a job. I cannot leave Mombasa as at now because our second born daughter is doing her KCP. So we cannot change her school. And I felt in my heart that I need to give support. I was given support for the 4 years to be able to study. So it's my time now to also give support to the person, the next person who deserves this support. So I came to that realization that I have to accept things as they are and manage. And trust you me, I was able to manage because God has given us that capability. You know, we just have to get into that space, you know, ask God, please give me the strength. I can't do it, but I just give me that grace, you know, a day at a time, a day at a time. So when today is done, I tell God, thank you. So tomorrow is another opportunity for me to be a mother. So what I would say for me is gratitude, you know, thanking God, because there's a lady who said that, you see, when you have gratitude, it turns what you have into enough, you know, it turns a meal into a feast. You see, it makes, you know, when you are grateful, you're able to appreciate more. So for me, I would say that gratitude and looking at what God has granted me has been one of the tools I have used to rise up from my, you know, my what really makes me cry, what makes me feel bad. Another thing I would say that has really helped me is communing with people, you know, joining communities. Joining those communities, I have learned that actually people are going through worse situations than I am. So it has made me realize, so, you know, like the way we normally say first world problems, you see, first world problems. So I realized, oh my God, I should just keep quiet and not even talk, because what I have is not a problem.
Yeah.
Somebody is asking for a job. I have a job.
Yeah.
Somebody is asking for children. I have 3, you know. Somebody is asking for a home, a house. I have a home. You see, so when you're able to look at things and reverse them and, you know, you reflect them on your end, you're able to see, by the way, I don't deserve this crying. It is an injustice. Then another thing is that I also learned to be vulnerable, to give myself permission, you know, to allow myself to go through those motions, allow myself to be able to feel that way, because in only being down there and feeling that way is the only way you're able to rise up against all that you're going through. So I have been able to learn skills of, you know, giving myself, you know, extending that grace to myself, because there's no way I will be able to go through all this and I'm not kind to myself. So being kind to myself has helped me be able to rise from this situation. So I want to tell other women and girls that we go down, but even as we go down on our knees and pray to God and tell God, please get me out of this situation. And then we rise up and we even surprise ourselves, you know, once you like identify and recognize, you know, I would want to stop there.
Wow.
Can I add something?
Yes, Margaret.
I want to echo the words of Wangeshi. If we don't go through those motions, we become bitter.
Yeah.
We become emotional. We become, you know, if you don't manage your emotions, so you'll realize hurt people hurt others. People who have been hurt, you know, you'll tend to even hurt your family. You'll tend to hurt people who are close to you simply because you've not processed your emotions.
Yeah.
And so you're carrying that bitterness and taking it to the wrong place. And I think that is why currently we have a lot of things to do with mental health, marriage breaking, and all that, because we have not sought that healing from ourselves and from God. And then now you serve. You know, you can only pour from a cup that is full. So if your cup is not full, whatever is inside is what you will pour. So you may not even realize it. Like your kids are so innocent, but each time they come across you, you're just throwing bitter words at them, yet it is not them who have the issue.
Yeah.
It is you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. I like this, that we have to make a conscious decision. I think going back to intentionality, to get out of whatever life has thrown to us. I can see Wangeshi putting there on the chat, you bleed on others. So we have to really process our emotions so that we are not bitter. That we have to manage our lives and the situations that we are in because God, through God, who helps us to be capable of doing that. I also like what Wangeshi said about giving back. So she was given, and now you have to really get to, it's not about you. It's not always about you. It's also about other people in your life. And so giving back, and now she's giving back to her daughter. She has to make the commute to make sure that, her daughter is stable as she's doing her, last exams. I also like being in communities. We had talked about that. I love gratitude. Turns what you have to enough. There's this analogy that he's told. Someone was trying to God and was so bitter. God, why can't you give me shoes? And then God showed them a person who does not have one leg. So they can't even wear the two shoes. And then the person with one leg and can wear one shoe says, God, even I don't have one leg. Then this person was shown a person who does not have both legs. Then the person with two legs are like, oh God, you didn't give me any legs. Then they were shown someone who is dead. Anyway, the moral of the story is we should be grateful for what we have. Wangeshi has said, when you commune with other people, you realize that your situation there are people going through worse than what you're going through. And that helps you to be able to have that spirit of gratitude. I also like that what Margaret has said, you can only pour from a cup that's full. And so making sure as women that we are feeling ourselves in our different ways. And so that becomes very, very awesome. I hope you're inspired to hear that these women, they've accomplished so much. You see them on social media, you see them talking about their stories. They also go through the same struggles. The Bible says even Elijah was a man of like passions. He had his own issues like all of us. I like to talk about, when he's come from Mount Carmel, he has just killed 400 prophets of Baal. That was such an achievement. It is the achievement of the century. And, he's restored Israel back into, worshiping God. He has destroyed the idol worship in Israel. Then immediately after, Bible talks about him now going through a depressive, state, and he's telling God, I am the only one, because, Jezebel has threatened to kill him. Let's know that all of us are going through challenges. When you find yourself going through a difficult time, going through depression, lift yourself up, knowing that you are not the only one. So many women, these women that are here, they are going through so much, and they are saying that you should pick yourself up. You have to be intentional. Pick yourself up. Get out of that situation so that you can be able to achieve the purpose that God has for you. Awesome, awesome. I like this conversation. It's so real. These women being vulnerable and saying, you know what, yes, we are doing it, but yes, these are the challenges that we are going through. Margaret, speak to a woman right now going through a difficult time. Sometimes it's easier for us to talk about things that we have overcome. For a woman who is at the means of it right now, offer them a word of encouragement.
Thank you, Muthoni. I'll start by saying, we are saying, wake up, we are saying, do it. What are those things? Let me start from a point of view of, let me start with like illness.
Yeah.
We're saying be intentional. Do you know sometimes when you're ill, you even don't want to take a shower?
Yeah.
Start by that small thing. Wake up, take that shower, brush your teeth, put on that hairstyle, comb your hair, one step at a time. They say the world was built one step at a time. We are talking about gratitude. Just be thankful that you are alive. You did not die. You may be going through that, but God allowed you. God just allowed you to be alive, to even hear what this conversation is all about. And, whatever you do, if you can measure them in small, measurable bits day by day, you will be amazed at how much you can accomplish. If you're struggling with weight issues, when you're told drop that sugar, there are two thin lines between intentional and doing. And the world only rewards people who do it. No matter how good we talk, no matter how good your plans are, but unless you wake up and do something about it, they'll just remain there. When we talk about praying, maybe you're even dry, you don't have any word to pray, but just wake up and thank God. Converse with God and tell him, now, this is my situation. At least be active, be an active participant. So when we keep saying do it, you know, many a times we are so engrossed with the end product, forgetting the process. But enjoying the process is what has become a game changer. And on this, I'll give my own testimony. In March, I've had an issue with my heart, and my doctors checked and we looked at it. We didn't know where the pressure was coming from. So I just decided, and I told myself, I always say I have to be intentional, but now this is for me. So I started eliminating, because I've been trying to do things, but there are things that maybe I wasn't so keen on. And one of the things was my diet. So I've been very keen on my diet. And believe you me, last week, 3 days I didn't take my pressure drugs because I have to take around 6 pills. And for 3 days, my pressure, especially the low numbers, were just 80. I've never had 80, 80, 80. And then I realized we have the answer in us, but you have to do it. So whatever it is, that young girl, old lady, wherever you are, just commit to one thing. Commit to that one thing and do it. But you also have to look behind to account what you've done, because if you don't, you know, if it is not scheduled, it's not done. If it is not measurable, it's not done. So have it somewhere so that maybe get an accountability partner, so that even the time you drop the ball, somebody is able to slap you up and tell you, hey, we were going this way. Can we do 2 more steps? Since yesterday we did 1, and the other day we didn't do any, but it is doable. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. I like that. One step at a time. So sometimes if it's overwhelming, forget everything. What can you do today? Today you can wake up, you can take a shower, you can, brush your teeth, you can look good. Sometimes you can even go to the salon. We call it a pick-me-up activity. When we come from the salon, we feel something. I think God just put it inside there. You've, done your hair or your nails or whatever it is that, can become a pick-me-up. But there's what you can do at this particular time, even if it's overwhelming. And then I think you should do a book called Intentional versus Doing. That's a very interesting concept, that after you're intentional, you actually have to go out and do it. And what you've said, it's one step at a time. Enjoy the process as much as, we will celebrate the end product, and then schedule. Do things that are measurable. What can you be able to achieve today? And I'm gonna, pick that also for myself. If it's too much, what is it that I can be able to do today? And we cannot overemphasize the place of an accountability partner. Do not walk life by yourself. It will become overwhelming. The devil has a way, the Bible says that he's a roaring lion. And what he does, he separates you from the pack. When you're just by yourself, he has won, because he will have a field day with you. And so do not walk this life by yourself. Find someone else who can hold you accountable, who you can share with what is going on in your life, share your intentions and what you want to achieve, and let them follow through or follow you to make sure that you're actually doing. Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Margaret Wangeshi. Speak to a woman right now who is feeling, this is too much and I cannot make it. Give them a word of encouragement.
All right. First of all, I would want to encourage the woman who is listening to me. I want her to tell her to be still. To be still and just listen. To just slow down. Whatever situation you're going through it, just sit down, slow down, have a small kamkutano with yourself. Even take a pen and paper. and list down what is bothering me. That's the first step.
Yeah.
What is the problem? There are some of the things that you can do something about them, and there are those that you can do nothing about them. So whatever you have control over. That is what now you work on. Because when you're able to work on whatever you have control over, you see this that you cannot change, you will have the strength to bear it, you see? But now when you have all these things together, there's so much noise, there's so much chaos, So you first of all need to sieve. Then you can have what you can change and what you cannot change. Then work on what you can change, yeah? So what I'm looking at is, one of the things that I can change is attitude. You see, we have the attitude of I'm a victim. I'm going through a rough time. I am down. I don't have a job. My mother-in-law, my sisters-in-law, all those problems or all those things we call as problems as women. So these are things you can change, because someone said an attitude is like a car with a flat tire. This car cannot go anywhere unless you change the tires. Once you change those tires, the car will go. So that's the same thing with attitude. So once you change your attitude, everything else works. So what do I have in my hands? I can learn a skill. I have a skill. Let me do something about it and just believe in myself. I have anger issues. What do I need to do about this? I have bitterness. I need to do something about this bitterness. I need to forgive myself. I need to forgive those who hurt me. I need to speak for myself, because you realize some of the things that burdens we are carrying is because we have not used our God-given voice. We are just used to keeping quiet, and we are stepped on and trampled on. And God has told us that I have given you authority, to trample on the scorpions, the snakes, everything. You see? So we really need to take our position. I want to read this quote by Melody Betty. I love it. I had started talking about, but let me read the whole quote. Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life, turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. So it goes back to what I said. Be still, listen to yourself, call yourself for a kamkutano, and then it turns a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. You see, this quote has always really helped me in so many situations. So I want to ask any woman who is listening to me, please go down, listen, have that quiet time, read this quote, reflect on it, see what you can do about your situation, because you can only remove yourself into that. There are things that you can change, and there are things you cannot change. But the things you can change are going to influence those that you cannot change. And then I want to also now reiterate what John Maxwell said. You cannot lead others if you cannot lead yourself. So you have a home as a mother, as a woman. You cannot lead that home if you cannot lead yourself. For instance, timekeeping, making promises. You see, you have no moral authority to ask somebody, maybe your husband, maybe the children, about things like getting late to go to church. You need to be ready on time. And then now you're the one telling people, we are late. We need to be in church by now, so that at least at part of praise and worship, at least we get to go through the whole time for church, because that is fellowship that makes us grow every other day. You see? And you go to church, for those who believe in God, you come out and you feel you're lighter. You have left your problems there, because God is there to help us in all of our. So what I would tell a woman who is listening to me, I'll tell them to mom up. Because God has given us that strength to go through all this and come out unscathed. Yes.
Awesome. I want you to make fun and say you're telling the woman to man up. I'm just thinking, man up or woman up. I'm just
to mom up.
Yes, I understand. I'm just making fun. I like that. You have to lead yourself for you to be able to lead others. And every woman is a leader, because we have been given responsibilities of our families. If you're a young person, maybe college, just starting work, Very soon, you want to lead other people, whether it's the workplace, whether you get married, you have children, you have workers under you, nannies at home. To lead them, you have to first lead yourself. I like that. And then I like what you've said, list down what's bothering you and separate the parts so that you reduce the noise. There are things we cannot change. Maybe a husband left. They've left. There's nothing you can, because you cannot force them, if they do not want to be part of the marriage, there's nothing you can do about that. Maybe a child has gone wayward and you have tried your very best. You cannot force another human being. So separate the things that you can control. Margaret's situation, you are unwell. God has told you, check on your diet, check on your health, maybe exercise, that you can control. The sickness, when God heals you, he heals you. So separate the things that you can control and the things that you cannot control, so that you give yourself space to handle the things that you can be able to control. And when we are at a place of quietness, I call it internal silence. When we are silent or quiet on the inside, we are able to see the solutions that God is giving us. But if we put everything together, there are things we cannot change. The economy, living standards have gone high. There's not much we can do about that. So we cannot change the economy of our country, but we can decide that we are going to increase our income because we will do something extra. We can be able to maybe offer, paint coaching or, mentorship or whatever. There is something you can change. The one you cannot change, remove it from the path so that you give yourself the space to be able to find solution. Awesome. I want to share with you these two books.
Muthoni,
Yes, Wangeshi.
And I needed to add that that woman needs to enjoy the little things in life.
Yes.
Little things in life to me can look like having ice cream, you see? Little things to somebody else can look like having a kangumu, you see? So those little things in our own different levels of life, we need to enjoy those little things. So the woman listening to me, at least if she looks around wherever she is, she cannot miss at least one thing to enjoy. And that is where the gratitude comes in.
Yes.
Asante.
Awesome. And we are told, that where this song we say, count your blessings, name them one by one. I keep on saying, it's such an amazing place to start. My daughter was asking me, my 9-year-old said, Mommy, are we rich? I'm like, how am I going to respond? Are we rich or are we poor? And then I told her, let's count our blessings. So we have a small car. If the bumps are too high, there's a way we have to maneuver. But we thank God that we have a car that takes us from point A to point B. Yes, we want a bigger car. When God allows, we will get a bigger car. But for now, we thank God for the small car that we have. And so this is not about what you have or you don't have. Maybe you're in a bedsitter. There's someone in a carton house. So you come back and you tell God, you know what? I thank you that I'm in this bedsitter. I'm better off than someone who is sleeping on the street. So when you sit down and you count your blessings, and it's not even physical things. Sometimes you look at it and you're thinking, you know what? I have peace. Even if you had how much money, you cannot buy peace. You can be swimming in millions, but you're you are out of peace and you cannot sleep, you cannot find sleep. So you just count. I have a husband, if you have one, or I have children, my kids are doing this, I have paid school fees. It's more things in life. When you count your blessings, and we are told, name them one by one, not to put all of them together. You name them one by one, and it will surprise you what God has done for you. So just start from there and give God thanks for what he has been able to give you. Let me share with you my screen so that I can show you these amazing books by these two amazing women. I'm hoping that you'll be able to pick the books and just get to interact with them and their stories. They share a little bit more about what they've gone through and a word of encouragement throughout the books. So we have The Diamond Underneath, Margaret A. Vidolo, it's Abukutsa Vidolo. and her book is available from CLC Kenya website, that's kenyaclc.org. You can get the book for 1,490. It's such a worthy investment, I can assure you. The story, at some point, you just remove a handkerchief and you wipe your tears because you're just thinking, when you're done with the book, you tell God, you know what, this woman has gone through all this and she's here to testify. I thank you for my life. So you can be able to get this book. It's also available from africanauthors.net, Jumia Kenya, African Book Hub, also available from the Writers Guild of Kenya, available on Amazon as well, and any other bookshop near you. Please get a copy of this book. Margaret also runs a mentorship program. She'll be sharing with us a little bit on how to get into the mentorship program. And she has a second upcoming book, The Concrete Woman. So spoiler, I know, spoiler alert, she has a book too that is coming up. And we look forward to be able to engage with her on that. Then we have, despite everything, this is Wangeshi's story on her PhD journey and the challenges that she's had to overcome to be able to get it. A word of encouragement for women that you can go out there, you can achieve the things that God has put in your heart, including education. So if you want to go all the way to the top, here is an example of a woman who has scaled it or leaving her small children to be able to get this PhD in another country. And so that offers a wonderful opportunity for us to be encouraged that we can be able to achieve the things that God has put in our heart. You can get the book from CLC Kenya. The website is kenyaclc.org. The book is available at Kenya shillings 990 and also available from all the other platforms that I've mentioned, africanauthors.net, Jumia Kenya, Nuria Bookshop, from Amazon, from African Book Hub, Writers Guild, and any other bookshop near you. I'm hoping as we continue these conversations that our community, our continent is going to pick the books by our African Christian authors, and we can be able to be encouraged and say that, you know what, Africans, we read, that's where we are going. We read, we get empowered, and we implement. I want to bring us to a close with our closing remarks from both Margaret and Wangeshi. We are 2 minutes to the time. I think we have kept good time. Margaret, tell us about your mentorship program for women who are going through challenging times, especially in terms of health. And also Wangeshi will be able to tell us what she's doing or what the plans for the future are, even as you do your closing remarks. Margaret.
Thank you, Wangeshi. I'll start by saying you can get me on Facebook, Margaret Abukutsa, and I'll keep you posted on all my upcoming events there. To that woman who is thinking, I'm a woman and I'm a mother and I'm not thriving, just get to know that God has us. Because in his own plan, he knew whatever you're going through. The Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. And so he provided enough grace for us to go through it. And I need to say again, we are the people who get a lot of judgment, a lot of backlash, a lot of pulling down. But again, dare to risk with God. God is a risk taker. So when you partner with him, he will make your motherhood a very enjoying journey. And motherhood is not limited to biological mother. Motherhood, you can mother somebody. You can mentor somebody in your church, workplace, community, and so forth. God gave us all this, and we have what it takes. Thank you.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much, Margaret. We are so honored to walk this authorship journey with you. You've been so amazing. We love your activity on Facebook. We love that you're encouraging women. You're such an inspiration. And thank you so much for writing your book and even the second book. We look forward to this amazing writing ministry that God has given you, and may it thrive, may it succeed, and may it impact as many people as God has desired. Awesome. Wangeshi.
All right. Thank you so much, Muthoni. I would want to encourage every woman who is listening. I would want to encourage them because motherhood is an honor and a privilege. It is also service to God. I want to encourage every woman and tell them that you are tough, even though you're struggling. It is tough, but you are tougher and you've got this. And we are here to celebrate you and encourage you that you're going to get to the finish line. You're going to thrive, You're going to be that mother who will be admired tomorrow. There's somebody looking up to you. So the situation you are in is not permanent. Yeah, it's just for a season, and the seasons they come to an end. And I know there's a good story that is waiting to unfold for you. So every one of us has a story, and I want to encourage all the women, especially when it comes to the issue of you have this burden, you want to share your story and write your book. Just be vulnerable, just take the first step, and know that that story that you have that you're sitting on, you do not want to share it to the world. You are asking yourself, how will it be? How will people see me? You have all those questions, all those fears, all those anxieties. There's somebody waiting for your story for their breakthrough. So you're sitting on somebody's breakthrough. So please tell your story, write your story. There are so many people out there waiting to hold your hand. We are here. We were there once, but here we are. And we are encouraging you. Please find these communities. You cannot just find these communities by just sitting down, by just being on TikTok, watching funny videos, wasting a lot of time. Turn that TikTok to a more valuable way. Let it benefit you. Facebook, Instagram, there's so much material out there. So do something for yourself. Don't just sit there, have that thirst, and I believe all will be well. So I want to end there, and I want to say that you can find me on social media. I am Wangeshi Wambua. I am yet to settle and get what I want to do, but I am sure I want to work with women and girls. I want to encourage them because I believe what I have, I did not get to hear in one day. And it took the grace of other people holding my hand because, we are walking on giants' shoulders. So I want to believe that where I am is by the grace of God. And I would be so happy if I'm able to share the same with other women, show love on them, hold their hands, encourage them. So feel free to inbox me, talk to me. I will be able to respond when I can. And also, don't forget your place in God, So I'll stop there, and I want to appreciate CLC. I want to thank you, Muthoni, for your selflessness. Thank you so much for, pulling us up, listening to us. I called Muthoni one day, and I was feeling like this Akaba, the journey. I am lagging behind. I have so many things in my hands. Let me tell you, that day you really spoke to my heart. You encouraged, you gave me that impetus to continue, despite everything, I felt like, oh, I have a community. I've been encouraged. So that is why I am now here today, because we're only waiting for that one person to tell you it is possible. We're also going through it. So that is my parting shot. And I want to say asante sana. And God bless you and have a good evening. And happy Mother's Day to all of us.
Yes. Happy Mother's Day to all of us.
Yes, happy Mother's Day.
Awesome. And we are so honored, Wangeshi, to have you. Your story is amazing. And we know that it's going to encourage many girls and many women. Yes, this season, as you settle down, we are here. We are not letting you go. And we say we are here for the long shot. So not just now. And so we keep on holding each other. There's this challenge on social media that was going on. It was called Fix Her Crown. All of us, we have something we can fix for each other, and so we will be there for each other as women so that we can thrive in the callings that God has given us. It's been an awesome conversation. It's been an honor, Margaret Wangeshi, to have you here. The people will be watching this, listening to this. Please get the copies of these two amazing women, Diamond underneath, and despite everything, and get to interact with their stories. Be blessed, be encouraged, and just know that despite the situation you're in, that you will come through. And as Wangeshi has said, please document your story. Your story could be that will save even one life. You know, someone was given up and they read your story and they relate to it with it, and they will be encouraged to continue. So if you need to write your story, please do it in CLC. We're encouraging as many people to be able to write, to be able to document and publish the things that God is teaching them. We look forward to more conversation. Happy Mother's Day. May we enjoy being women. It is not by accident. We were intentionally made to be women. In this century, in this year, we are here for a reason. And so be encouraged. Until next time. Bye.
Muthoni,
Bye. Yes.
have you ended?
Yes, in 1 minute.
Yes, before you end,
Yes.
I feel I need to share this with somebody.
Yes.
In terms of like telling our story. I feel like telling someone,
Yes.
probably you're wondering, where do I start? Where do I start writing them? I can't just sit down and have a chat. So I want to encourage you, open a WhatsApp group all by yourself. Remove maybe your other person, be alone. When you feel you're not ready to journal, write down something, you feel your heart is so heavy, I'm sure you can speak. Take your phone, record a message. Speak, pour out your heart. Let everything go there in that voice message, then send it. Send as many as you can. The day you will be ready, just download another app. There are so many transcribing apps. Those apps will convert all those recordings to a Word document. So you'll have so many Word documents of your story, of the things you've been going through, or maybe the inspiration you want to give to other women, you know, whatever your story is. And you see now, once you have that, believe you me, the time you're going to sit down behind your computer and start synthesizing this information, more things will come to the front, you know, because it is your story. So you're sharing your story. So it is your truth. So all these emotions and events are going to come back, you know. So for me, it was healing. It was painful, but it is healing. So please make use of that pain, you know. Let it be something that is of value. So I felt like sharing this before you ended, because so many people ask, I've gotten so many inboxes, how do I start? I have this story, how do I start? So that's a small way you can start, as well as keep on journaling, keep on writing down. Even though there are pointers like just one sentence, mom up. When you write the word mom up, there are so many things that are linked to it, because maybe you're thinking of privacy issues. I don't want to know what is, but when you write mom up, the whole chapter is in your heart. So when you sit down, things flow. They may flow or they may not. So when you sit down, you may have tears. That is what it is. That is why you should write your story. Those tears are healing. The next day you will sit down there. You'll not even want to stand up. You'll find yourself up at 3 a.m. still typing and writing your story. So I want to encourage somebody, please go for it. Please do it. Asante.
Awesome. Please close with a word of prayer. I was going to skip that because I got so excited with all these things that I've learned today. I will ask Karen, if you bless these women, bless their ministries, and bless all the women, even as we celebrate Mother's Day this month. Karen.
Thank you so much, Muthoni. Hi, Wangeshi. Hi, Margaret. It is a pleasure meeting both of you. Yeah, hi. I can't see all of you, but I see you waving, and I wave back. We thank God we were able to have this session. Thank you for the sacrifice. I know it is not easy on a Saturday, especially in the evening, given the many duties and things you have to do as mothers and wives, and we celebrate you for what you've done, bringing up your children and all that. We bless you, even you, Muthoni. We are thankful. We know it's not easy, and therefore we celebrate you as well. And even we, the ones who are not yet there, we celebrate ourselves too, because we are on the journey there, and we are thankful to have people like you to encourage us that the journey ahead is good, it is beautiful, and it is possible to be able to manage everything. And thank you for the timely message. We are really encouraged. I know many ladies out there who are listening, and mothers are really encouraged. Those who are almost getting married are also very encouraged that it is not hard. It may be hard, yes, but it is easy when you give yourself. And as Wangeshi has said, you be intentional. And as Margaret has said, we put Christ at the center of everything.
Thank you so much, Margaret, Wangeshi. Good to have you. And recognizing the CLC team, Jacqueline, Dominic, and Karen who are on this call. We appreciate each and every one of you. Good night. Bye.
Night. God bless.
Bye. Bye.
This is the Author Panel Edition, hosted by Muthoni Omukhango and sponsored by CLC Kenya.